I went on an interview with a supermarket a couple of months ago, and one of the interviewers said that, I needed to express more enthusiasm. And I looked at that, and I saw, a difference between men and women. Now, women think that a man is supposed to express his emotions on his face. He's supposed to be Mr. Smiley Face, he's supposed to be Mr. Happy, but that's not how men express their enthusiasm for work. When a man goes to work, he expresses his enthusiasm for work by, completing the task at hand, completing the work that was assigned to him. And he's very meticulous. A man does not express his emotion because that's not how men are naturally wired. Men are logical thinkers, and men do based on problem solving and, reason. That's how men operate. But when you go to many interviews that are run by female HR people, they're expecting a man to be emotional just like they are. They're expecting to see, smiles on a man's face. They're expecting him to have, you know, this big ball of energy where he's, really expressing himself. And it's just not how men are naturally designed. A man, for the most part, again, he thinks about what he says before he says it. He thinks about what he does before he does it. He plans things out, for a course of action. He thinks. Most men, that's how they are. But when you have female HR people, they're expecting males to be emotional. They're expecting them to have this, big smile on his face. He's supposed to be, super peppy, and he's supposed to be, really out there. And in most cases, most guys would look at that type of guy and go, "That's a weak dude. That's a soft dude." And what I'm seeing, from this type of enthusiasm model is that, a lot of people aren't understanding, how men work in the workplace, and they don't understand how men do things. And they're missing out, on a lot of qualified male employees because they want the man to be emotional, and men, for the most part, are not emotional. When you have a female HR person, they are looking for people to, again, be like them, which is emotional, and expressing outwardly, whereas your man is logical and he does things inwardly. He's a thinker, and he thinks about, again, what he says, he thinks about what he does, he plans things out, and he's sitting there when you're talking to him, you know, he can't really, come at you, from an emotional standpoint. Because when women ask questions on interviews, what I'm finding is they ask, very from a very emotional standpoint, and they're expecting, these fast, snappy responses. And that's not how a man operates at all. A man, he's going to come at an interview, he's going to take a minute to think about what he says. He's going to take a minute, to let those questions, ruminate before he comes up with an answer. He's not going to come at you with a fast, snappy answer, for the most part. And this is what I'm seeing, in a lot of different interviews. And this is what when I do interviews and I, study them. I study, the questions the person's asking me, and I'm studying their approaches. I'm studying their body language. I watch them just like they're watching me, and I look at it as a two-way street. And I'm looking at, the way a lot of female HR people go about things, and they're expecting guys to be, this emotional person. And again, that's just not how men are. Men are not emotional, and they think that the man is not qualified, that the man doesn't know what he's doing. But it's just that his approach is very different, and they're used to this emotional type employee. Because I go to different, places, and I see people, and that's what they want. They want this, peppy, enthusiastic person with a big smile on his face, and that's just not how men are. Men are they'll say hi, how are you, but it's the way they do it because they want to gauge you, they want to gauge their response, and they understand that, this is a logical transaction for them. They know that you want to get in and get out. This is not about, you being liked, or, you being, winning some sort of favor. They understand that this is a point A to point B thing, and this is something that, is a problem in retail service, is that everybody wants people, to be this friendly, super, emotional person, but you cannot, really, that's not how men operate. Men, they're thinkers, and that's how they operate. And I'm seeing in interviews, a lot of people don't understand, how men do things, and they don't understand, how to make the models work for men. And then when you have a female-based environment, they don't really understand, how men do things. They don't understand how men approach things. They come at it and they'll say, "Oh, the guy's not qualified. He looks like he has an attitude, or he looks like he's angry." And the guy may not be angry at all. I mean, just that a lot of guys are very serious and very diligent about their work. They may have a very intense face because they're very serious about making sure that this display is straight, or making sure that all these items are together. Like if you have several different action figures, making sure that the display, each character is displayed correctly, and they want to make sure that that's meticulous. Or when a person asks them a question, they want to make sure that they give them a correct answer and not just say aisle 7. They want to make sure that that this customer is walked to the item, shown the item so that they have the best shopping experience possible. But, when you're emotional, all you're thinking about is fast, snappy answers, whether they be right or wrong, or something that makes people feel good. Because this is another part of, enthusiasm, is that you want to feel something. When feelings are nice, they're okay, but in business, you need more than feeling. You need somebody who can, break things down, deconstruct things, show you, a whole line regarding things and how everything connects with everything else. And that doesn't, I mean, that's a different expression of passion. I mean, people don't understand. They think, oh, a guy doesn't have any passion. He's not really interested. No, he's interested, but he's thinking about what he's doing before he does it. And that goes over a lot of employers' heads, you know, in jobs these days. They want somebody who's going to be this super smiley face, making a lot of noise. That makes people feel. But in business, you need more than feelings. You need somebody who can produce and lay out structures so that things get done in a meticulous way. And that's something that a lot of employers miss out in interviews, because they're looking for somebody with a big smile on their face who talks snappy answers, and not somebody who sits there and meticulously plans and organizes. They don't understand that in order to get things done, there has to be a process, and in order to do the process, there's going to be a lot of concentration and focus. And when you're doing concentration and focus, you're not going to have a smile on your face. You're going to be focused on achieving whatever goal you want to achieve. And this is something that goes over the heads of quite a few HR people who want that so-called enthusiastic, super passionate person. And they're looking for again, emotion, because that's what female HR people look for. They're looking for an emotional person, when you really need a logical thinker in order to achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. Because there are different ways of expressing enthusiasm, and people, they think enthusiasm is expressed with a big smile on your face and being Mr. Happy, when enthusiasm really is expressed by your actions on the job. And a person's actions say more than their words, and this is something that a lot of interviewers just don't understand. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.